I get there. I'm going to call it the road to Teesside, quite simply because it's the journey at which I take to get the car to the next drift day at Teesside, which is going to be the New Year's Eve drift day that they call it New Year's Eve bash. The car itself is running at the minute. The last time it was in any of the videos would have been the Japanese Auto Extravaganza video down at Peterborough. The car was already in the process of being built for the Teesside drift day long before then. So I'm just going to talk you through what I've been up to and how I'm getting there. So we'll go from there. So here we are. Things really started off with the car getting its roll cage. I'm going to do a comment. Is that actually how you get now? Follow that. I cannot stop it. Still going to send it. So that was a big step for me. The roll cage is really the next step for drifting. I've successfully managed to drift around Teesside Autodrome. The last two drift days without any major real incidents or any crashes. For me, the next step was going to be twinning. I haven't really ever done twinning before. I've been in a car when it's been 2 up, but I've never actually driven a car in that situation. So that is why the cage has turned up. Not only that, but it did come from a friend, and I got an unbelievably good price on it. So the cage was never just going to be bolted straight in. It was at the time green, as you can still tell by the door bars. I obviously run the purple theme, so at that point the cage was painted very quickly in my guard, bright metallic purple. Some of the bars, if you catch them in the right light, have got a pink to purple fade on them, but it was quite a difficult thing to do in the dark, so I kind of just wanted to get it done and sorted ready for JA. So that was one of the big things I wanted ready for New Year. But for me, drifting isn't always just about the twinning, it's about the having fun, and that's where some of the other modifications come from. So before then, anyone who follows me on Instagram will have already seen the car went through some front end modifications. I had some extra lock bottom arms made, still retaining the 4-stud setup. So they were extended by 30mm, reinforced on the bottom, and they had the bump stops taken off them. They were then painted bright gold, just why not? So they were installed to give us a bit extra lock. In the process it heavily lowered the car, so that also changes the look of it. Now the plan had been to make a video of me doing this, but quite honestly, that plan didn't go very well. The GoPro died for some reason. I had battery issues, and in turn caused the video to fall on its face a little bit. So that was one part of it. I'll try and squeeze a little bit of footage in from what survived from the GoPro. Realistically at the time I didn't need them, but I wanted them. I got the bigger brakes, re-drilled discs off a 300ZX twin turbo model. So they were installed on the front. I've left the standard brakes on the back. I didn't feel that I would need them. Upgraded, so that was basically the front end done. done. That was all done before JE though. That was the early stages of the road to Teesside. I hadn't really thought too much about the rear end at the time, but that was definitely something that was on my mind. So with the JE show out of the way, I had a little bit more money and a little bit more time on my hands, so I started to do a few odds and end buys. One of the big things that I did buy, of no benefit to drifting whatsoever, was I bought a set of Works wheels. I'll drop you a little picture of them in here. I've always wanted them. They were on Ian Rutherford's spare car, or whatever car it was that he had. He's a British drifter. I've always wanted them. I've seen them a while ago and he offered us them at a good price, so I thought why not. The idea of getting them, they would be my main wheels for the summer and daily driving, and then I will run the Advan Works Euroline setup for drift days. Sadly, they aren't exactly the spec I would have liked, so I haven't bothered putting tyres on them yet. So that will be a job for next year. I will be relipping the smaller ones to put wider wheels on the back, but until funds are slightly more stable, that will be a job for the future. So after the wheels came the subframe. So I'll add a little picture below of the disaster that happened a few years ago. Not long after I got this car, I snapped a camber arm. Where was that? Just near the Tyne Bridge in Newcastle. Lost control of the car and it impacted the curb and it destroyed all the suspension on one side. Now at the time I was kind of aware but not totally sure, but I had always suspected that the subframe had a little bend in it, or a kink or something along them lines, because the alignment was really difficult and it wasn't matching. So if I was turning 4 turns out on the camber arm on the passenger side that had been hit, then it would still have a ridiculous amount of camber. So I was always a little bit in my mind that it was a bit wonky, and the guy who I bought the roll cage off was breaking his Silati, so I managed to get a powder coated rear subframe for this one. At the time I didn't really have the time to work on it with all the JE stuff that was going on, and at the time Michael was trying to build a Mazda MX-5 for drifting, so I was partaking a lot in that. And then also on top of that, he had bought an S13 which I was involved with going to get and a little bit of work on, so I hadn't really had time to do any of that work on this car. So that kind of sat in my shed for a while. That is now gold. I haven't bolted in the car at the point of making this video, because I have not just been painting things and putting them in. This time I'm going to try and do it right. I've always kind of rushed things because I've needed the car, where this time I don't need the car to get to work. I'm going to try and make it slightly more professional job of it. So at the same time as that, I decided I was going to change to a 4.1 ratio Skyline R33 GTST diff. It wasn't always on the cards. I'd always kind of wanted to be able to do South Bank and Teesside in 3rd gear. I thought I would with the diff I had at the time, but quite honestly I just didn't manage it last time, and I knew in my head then that that was the next step for the car. So I managed to get my hands on Skyline diff, then discovered it was not just a matter of bolting the Skyline diff in. I'd read on the forums, I was kind of aware, but you live at home. So I managed to get the Skyline diff. I sourced some 5-bolt drive shafts, Skyline drive shafts as well. Then I had to get a back plate for the 13 subframe. managed to get that all shop blasted, cleaned up. It's painted silver. I cleaned the diff up, painted that black. Installed some brand new solid mounts for the front of the diff, just to give it the same feel as the standard S13 diff, because they are solid mounted from the factory. And then at that point I realised that none of the bolts fit, so I decided to go big, and I have bought some titanium bolts and nuts to hold the diff in. It was only a few pound more than the stainless steel bolts, so that was inevitably going to save me some time cleaning rusty bolts in the long run. So while all that's been happening, I've also been busy inside of the car. The car itself has undergone a battery relocation. The battery is now right behind me. It is in a racing fiberglass box mounted to the floor nice and securely. It's got a larger capacity battery in it than what I was running originally. I used to have this ridiculously small, like, I think it was off an old Mini or something like that, battery under the bonnet. It used to go flat quite regular. It was just too small for the car and all of the extra electronics that had been put on the car. So it was a nice addition to put the battery behind the seat, so here's a picture of it. Right, so as you can see by this video, there's a lot of work been going on in the car. I recorded the last bit in the car a few weeks back, and the end of the volume basically just died on the GoPro, so just record this little bit. A lot of stuff has been going on in the car. I am doing stuff on it pretty much today as well, so there was another update in the process. I'll just need to put it all together for the next video. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Catch you next time.